and you're out there pushing by yourself and you're striving by yourself and you're carrying the weight of your business by yourself, or you're in a family business and you're chewing up your family time together, talking about what's wrong in the business, and you want an alternative perspective, you want an alternative result, that's why we've started this business, is for you. Hey everybody, this is Brandon Dawson. Welcome back to another episode of Building Billions with Brandon Dawson. Today I'm talking to a really super long-term, great friend, unbelievably successful guy. His name is Greg Bolt, and what we're going to be talking about is the launch of our new business, 10X Roofing. Greg, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Brandon. Nice to see you.
How long have we known each other?
30 plus years.
Oh my gosh.
Goes fast.
You had to sign that NDA that you can't tell anybody any of my secrets.
Yeah, there was like two of them.
Two NDAs or two secrets?
Well, two NDAs. There was so much to hide.
So much to hide. That's awesome. We've been friends, I don't know, it's been over 30 years now.
Yeah.
And we both were out in Oregon together. And when did you sell your roofing business?
2019.
2019. I remember you came to me, we were playing golf, and you're like, hey, I've got this deal on my roofing business. And we went through it, and I gave you some insight and all this other stuff, and you ended up doing the deal, very successful. But talk about how you even got in the roofing space in the first place.
So our family started the company in 1951.
Wow.
And from 1951 to 2004, the company stayed below $3 million in sales.
And your dad was running it?
My uncle started it in 51. My
Okay.
dad joined him in 56. My cousins split off and took another company with my uncle in the late 70s when they came out of college. And then my brother and I and my dad kind of ran ABC Roofing. And then my dad stepped away. We bought him out.
What year was that?
Then my dad stepped away. Probably about 2010. 9 or
Got
10.
it. So you work, so I mean, literally the ultimate family business. Two brothers.
Yeah.
Then they split off. One takes his sons and goes one direction. The other has his two sons and continues building the business. And you guys worked with your dad for how many years were you working before you took it over?
I got out of college in 1985, but I started working about 1978.
So you all through high school and everything, you were working in the family business.
Grade school.
Grade school. It's crazy. It's
Yeah.
I know that feeling. And so when you were working in grade school and then you got into high school and then as you got started getting into your 20s and 30s, did you ever think to yourself, one day I'm going to own this business?
No. I thought one day I'm going to get out of the roofing business. But I enjoyed it. I ended up being a great career, and it wasn't the path I thought I was going to have when I was in high school or even college. But I had some great mentors and some great people I worked with along the way, built some great relationships, and wouldn't change a thing.
We're going to get into some of the details about how you took the family business over, some of the things you did to grow it and all that. But before we do that, I have to share a story.
Please.
So look, I'm going to embarrass myself a little bit here, but in 1995, I believe it was, or 96, we have a mutual buddy. And he tells me, hey, look, man, we all played golf together. And he says, look, we got to go help Greg in his roofing company because he has a huge job. He needs help. He doesn't have the manpower. And you have to come help me help him. And I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever, man, whatever. And so he says, look, but we got to go to Home Depot and we got to get you the right, stuff. So I'm like, cool, that's whatever. So we go to Home Depot and I buy these new boots. I buy this great tool belt. I buy hammers. He tells me, he walks through and picks all the stuff out I need. And so I load everything up into the trunk of my Mercedes and I meet out at the job site. And you're up on this roof with your crew of people and there's multiple ladders going up there. And you're like, hey, man, I'm glad you guys came. I could use your help. And you were all excited that we were there. And I opened the trunk of my Mercedes and I put on my brand new tool belt with all my stuff. And I put on my brand new boots and I come climbing up the ladders. And I step onto the roof and it was a hot tar roof. And within about 15, 20 minutes, I was stuck on the roof. I had shit all over my body. And at one point I'm like, I cannot believe this is what these guys needed me to do. And I turn around and you and your whole crew and that guy are all sitting there looking at me, laughing your asses off. The whole thing was a prank.
It's good.
I felt like such a dumbass. I had tar all over my body, and you guys are laughing. Every new thing I had bought at Home Depot was
covered with tar,
totally ruined. And you guys pranked me. And I have to tell that story because every time I tell it, even today, I laugh my ass off.
That's good. That's what's supposed to happen.
Boy, we had a lot of fun over the last 30 years.
We have. Yeah, it's been great.
And you were at my 50th birthday. I mean, we've had a lot of fun together. And you sold your business. So what year did you take your dad? You bought your dad out?
We bought him out right there, right around 10 or 11.
2010 or 11. And over the 40 years or 50, 60 years, geez, from it starting. How big was the business and how long had it been that size before you bought it out?
Well, we started from 1951 to 2004. We never got more than $3 million in revenue.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
And in 2004 is about the time you started taking over the actual operations of the business.
Yeah, we hired a consultant. We brought in an outside consultant, paid him a bunch of dough.
How hard was it for you to convince your dad to let you do that?
I think the guy was a hell of a salesman. And so he kind of hook, line, and sinkered my dad. And I thought, great, this is fantastic.
I can get some help.
Yeah, and I did. And we immediately went boom from 3 million to 8 million. And we hit what's commonly known as
breakpoint 2, top end of breakpoint 2. But you didn't know that at the time. I didn't even know it at the time.
No. But like, if I say it, I mean, when I sat through the 10X360 and read through those breakpoints and why you stop and why you go and how you get through them, it was like reading the last, 15 years of my life in business. Most of it from 2, 3, and 4 in the last 7 years. But it was like, I couldn't believe just how accurate that information was and what it meant to get through those points and how accurate the information was.
And did it help you relive a little bit those moments when you're looking at that and you can remember, I remember going.
Yeah. So I remember, my brother coming up to me and asking me a question about, I don't know, we were buying something or I was going to spend some money on something. He goes, why are you going to do that? I said, I just think it's a good idea. I don't know. I've never run a $10 million roofing business before, but I think it's what we need to do. And that's pretty exemplary of what I think small businesses go through. They go, I don't know. I make good decisions. I'm going to try it. And most of the time it worked. I'd say I was 90% good on my execution or my decisions, but there was that 10% that I was bad. And, it hits you.
Yeah.
Gets your attention.
Yeah. And what happens with that 10% or 20 or 30% is it starts dinging your confidence and still taking those risks. But you built that business. So you took it over, you got the consultant, you started following advice, and then all of a sudden you hit breakpoint 2, 8 million. What are some of the adjustments you had to make at that point in time?
Probably the biggest thing I did was I started adding people, layers of people. So I already had a superintendent. My superintendent came in and said, hey, you need an ops guy. I said, great, you're the guy. You're the ops guy. Get us a superintendent. So we started backfilling and building a team so that I could start focusing and my brother could start focusing on what we did well, which was actually customer relations and sales and vision,
So now you're going into breakpoint 3, 10 million, 12 million, and you're sitting in the class and you're hearing me talk about the 3 leaders you need in the company. And you're
That's exactly
and you in your mind are like, I remember exactly when that happened and what the result was of building that team. Yeah,
it was incredible. Just exactly what happened to me.
Yeah.
Except it took me a long time to do it.
Yeah. And that's so really it's time now for full disclosure. I never really did any research. I just wrote the story of your business. From you, all the golf.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah. So you get a royalty now on everything.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
Yeah. You're in. So look, so now fast forward a little bit more, 2019, we start talking in 18, 19, you're starting to get offers on your business and I sit with you and walk you through, hey, this is what they're going to do. This is how they're going to do it. Here's what they're going to pay you. Here's the spread. They're going to go out in the marketplace. I lay it all out. And there really wasn't a lot of roofing buying companies back then. There was only a couple, right?
Correct. They were the biggest and the best. And the other guys were regional, flaky. I mean,
Well, it's okay.
I mean, they just weren't as solid. There's
Yeah.
one company I wanted to sell to, and they were the right company and the right fit and had the right mentality that fit us and fit really the roofing industry today, because now they're the biggest. They're number one.
Number one. That's and when that was happening, and I laid out on a piece of paper, this is what the reality of the world's going to be. This is what they're going to do. This is what they're going to go to market with. How close was I? When you go backwards 4 years. Exact. Yeah.
Exact. It's again, sitting in that 10X 360, it was just like, this is exactly what happened. I don't know if you're doing it for my benefit or not, but obviously you weren't. It was for everybody's benefit. It just happened to fit exactly my story.
Yep. Now, it's still a great story because you sold for enough money you'll never have to work again the rest of your life. And then you went and started working with the largest consolidator in North America for roofing.
Correct.
And the last basically 4 or 5 years, you've been working with them and watching their explosive growth.
Yes.
Which is exactly what I said. This is what their strategy is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Then they're going to go to a private equity group. Then they're going to do this. Then they're going to do that. And that's exactly what they've done. And so you and I were talking about this because we have so many roofers in our 10X community, both commercial and residential. And I said to you, I don't know, maybe a year ago, I said, dude, I'm getting all these roofers coming in, and it sure would be fun to do something with you. And you were like, yeah, I've got this commitment and I'm serving out my commitment and everything. Well, now your commitment's up.
Yes.
And you're a free agent.
Yes.
So you and I were together about 3 or 4 months ago, and you're like, hey, remember that thing we were talking about? I think we could go help thousands of independent business owners that were just like your family business grow, create massive value, and eventually become part of a larger organization, either through affiliation or whatever, but creating massive value, growing the business, and having a higher profitable, successful business, take the pressure off the individual, and allow them to really learn how to build something that can work for them the way you did.
Yeah.
And so you're basically saying, hey, I want to come out of retirement. Not really retirement, but you've been able to do whatever you've wanted to do the last 3 or 4 years, right?
Yeah, it's been fun.
It's been a great time.
Great time.
But now you got the itch.
Yeah. Yeah. I really got the itch at your 10X 360 when I saw how fundamental it was laid out and how easy it was to understand how to master those 4 pillars. And, roofing, there's some other pillars I want to add, but but that is something that watching people try to run a business when they don't have financials right, when they don't have HR right, when they don't have operations right, they have no sales program, they're getting 2% of their calls returned, and they're not following up. They just have no sales or marketing system in place. And you've got a system, roofing, small business, it's a team game, and I look at what you've got as the perfect playbook for the small business team that wants to be the best team they can be.
And you're like, dude, I could lead this charge because in your previous experience working with that massive high quality consolidator, basically, like the best in the marketplace. Watching them, you still realize that a majority of the people that they want to buy, they can't even buy because they're not operated well enough.
No, a very small percentage that they can buy because 1 to 4 of those pillars are weak, and it's usually the financial one.
And so they're looking at it, no matter how big it is, they're like, oh, well, we can't justify buying it because it doesn't make any money, or it doesn't have the owners structured it wrong, or the jobs are the wrong kind of jobs, or it's not operationally, it's not run sound enough. So if you and I just went in and helped all those business owners fix their business to make them more profitable, more structurally sound, and more valuable, we'd have a great time doing it.
Absolutely.
And we have a lot of roofers.
And we're going to help a lot of people.
We have a lot of roofers, and they're great people.
Yeah.
They just struggle. I remember I had this group out of the Midwest, and they were like, oh, we're the biggest. We're 50 million. And these guys, there was like 6 partners, and We spent about 4 months helping them and working with them. And I was like, man, you guys are going to end up going out of business because of all this stuff you guys are doing. And the fact that you're all doing other things too. You're like, no one is in love and owning the roofing business. You're taking the proceeds from the roofing business and you're all out trying to do something else. And you're ignoring the core business. And they were like, nah. 6 months later, they're out of business. And it was a $50 million company.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't take long to wreck a great business if you don't put the right attention on it. Conversely, you can take a business that's struggling and turn it into a great business very quickly as well. And I think the point of this podcast is for you and I to announce basically the launch of our 10X roofing management company. Our goal is to go out and find 250 to 500 independent, family-owned or independent roofing businesses and help them grow 5 to 10 times bigger by giving them the resources, the structure, the infrastructure, the systems, the processes, and help them create a much higher quality of life through their business. And when you and I are sitting around having a cigar talking about this, I watch you light up. You're like, I want to do this.
Yeah.
And so talk a little bit about if you could paint your future picture for the next 5 or 10 years, what do you want to create in this 10X roofing community?
Well, what I really want to create is a place where roofers can come together and talk openly and share ideas and learn from each other, learn what's working, what's not working, and just they'll grow just because they're motivated. They'll grow because they're getting good information and they're motivated to use it, and away they go. In my case, people say, well, you did it on your own. Why would I need help? The reason I think I got on my own, and the reason I succeeded is there's 5 people. Yourself, I had an insurance buddy. I had a engineering buddy. I had a land buddy or a real estate buddy. I had a auto parts buddy, and I had a trade show logistics buddy. All of them grew their businesses and exited before I did. So I had these 5 great examples of really smart people doing all the right things. They made mistakes that I didn't have to make because I watched them. So instead of it taking me 15 years, maybe it took me 7 or 8 years to grow from 4 to 20 million. But when I read the playbook you've got, I go, geez, if I'd had this, I'd have done it in 3 years. I'd have been, in 7 years, I might have been a $100 million company. It's not impossible at all.
And we have business owners doing it. And so I think that, you being in the room with people that are like, yeah, we're doing this right now and we're crushing it. Your confidence level. Because I remember you ran up to me and you're like, my God, dude, I'm talking to all these people who are absolutely killing it. I didn't have this. I had to do it the hard way. If we bring this and we structure it specifically for roofing, I can go get all these people and help them. We can kill it with them. And so that's exactly what we're going to do.
Great.
And I for me to get to work with a buddy that I've been friends with for 30 years, that we've shared a lot of great experiences together, and now get to go build and conquer. I'm really super excited about that, because I think it's important that everyone listening to this understand that when you can build with people that you already enjoy being around, it makes the building process, even when you're struggling, that much more fun, because you're overcoming things together. It's like you're conquering together. And if you don't have that at home and you're out there pushing by yourself and you're striving by yourself and you're carrying the weight of your business by yourself, or you're in a family business and you're chewing up your family time together, talking about what's wrong in the business, and you want an alternative perspective, you want an alternative result, that's why we've started this business, is for you. If you want to find out how to grow, scale, create massive value, do it bigger, better, more impactfully for you, the people that work with you, for your family, that's why we're starting this business, the 10X roofing business. And I promise you, without any question, we will blow this thing through the roof. And you've already seen the business you were working with, high quality aggregator and consolidator of independent roofing businesses. You've already seen them grow to billions of dollars, so you know it's possible.
Absolutely. Yeah, no question.
And we're going to do it.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
All right. Hey, listen, thanks for following and listening to this podcast. It's both a podcast talking about successful entrepreneurs, doing it the hard way, having an exit, but it also is an announcement of launching our 10X roofing business in partnership with my buddy Greg. And if you're a roofer, if you're in the home services space and you want to have a conversation with us, all you need to do is hit the link. All you need to do is DM us. All you need to do is send us an email, pick up the phone, have a conversation, and we'll be happy to walk you through exactly what we're doing. So for those of you watching this show and listening to it, I hope we inspired you about what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur. Be sure to leave your likes. Be sure to share. Leave us some comments. Appreciate you watching the show. And this is another episode of Building Billions with Brandon Dawson.